Let's go back to the Einstein quote saying that the most important question that one could ask is the universe a friendly place? And our conclusion is that just as beauty is in the eye of the beholder, that all of that stuff is too. And that the reason that this very wise man, by the way, so tuned in, so instinctual, so often in vibrational alignment with source energy, the receiver of so much information because of his ability to come into alignment. So he understood connection in the way that you've come to understand connection. And the reason that he would put such a question, the most important question, he's making this statement to every human whose ears could fall on his question to them. The most important question that you could ask is the universe a friendly place? Because he knows that when you ask, that it is given. In other words, he didn't say, is it a terrible place? He says, is it a friendly place? Meaning, look for the evidence of the good nature and the friendliness. Look for the evidence of the well-being of this planet. Because by the time he made such a statement or offered such a quote, he understood that what you look for, you find. And if you look for a friendly universe, you'll find it around every corner. If you look for a benevolent one, if you look for a kind and considerate one, if you look for things to appreciate, that's why that is the most important question. If you're looking for what you are wanting to see, you will find it, you see. Don't you think it's interesting the way he worded that question? He didn't say, the most important question is the universe an unfriendly place? He wanted you to look for the friendliness of the universe because he had found it. He had found the cooperative components. He had found the brilliance of the universe. He had found that there was nothing that he could pose a question about that the answer would not come to him. He knew that when you ask, it is given. And because of his patience and his scientific nature, he was willing to pose a question like that and then patiently wait endlessly for a series of answers to stream into his mind. Powerful teacher. Yeah. It's all out there. Esther argued with us in the early days. She'd say, but Abraham, she was talking about something and we were encouraging her not to spend time thinking about it. But it's true, she said. But it's true. And we said, just because something is true, we would not use that as our criteria of putting our attention upon it. Because it's only true because someone focused upon it and believed that it was so and held themselves in vibrational accordance and then attracted the proof to themselves. And so you get what you think about. You get what you ask about. There are so many people who have distorted so much. Source comes through to any of you who are asking, but you've got to get yourself into that receiving mode so that you can hear. But in your feeling of unworthiness or in your feeling of personal not enoughness, so often you look to others to do your translating for you. And the thing that you do that trips you up the most is that so often you're not even looking for that real-time instinctual information that will come. Instead, you're looking for it in those old books that have been written and buried and changed for the benefit of so many. And so you come to believe in things that never were. It isn't that God was wrathful and now has changed. He was never wrathful. He was always, as we are talking now, it's always been a non-physical source of love. But humans get things all distorted, and then you get in your fearful place, and then you try to scare each other with it. You get together in your religious clubs. That's what they are, religious clubs. And you say, those who are leading the group say, these are the rules if you want to be part of this prestigious religious club. These are the rules, and you must keep these rules. Do not do those things, and do these things. And so you decide you want to be part of that club enough that you keep those rules. But then you look around at others who are not keeping the rules and seem to be thriving. And you say, what's going on? They're not keeping the rules. And then they say to you, this is the biggest trick of all. Oh, you cannot evaluate it through your own life experience. You have to die. And in the afterworld, that's when you'll find out whether the rules were right, whether you kept the right rules or whether you didn't them or not. Not only is this universe a friendly universe, it is a consistent universe. It is a considerate universe. And in its consistency is its consideration. In other words, it will yield to you consistently. What you put out will come back to you, you see. Isn't that nice to know? Isn't that important to know? And aren't you glad that you now know it? We know you do. We know we're not saying things to you that you don't now know. You see, until you are able to consciously put yourself in the scenario, in the picture, in the deliberate creative picture, until you have a way of measuring your connection or lack of it to this source that you're wanting so much to understand, then you don't have any consistent way of guiding yourself. And most people are sort of just responding to what comes to them. So if something pleasing comes to them, they respond to it with pleasure. If something not pleasing comes to them, they respond to it with displeasure. But they don't seem to be able to manage their response because their responses are conditional. Where when you step back, as we are asking you to do in everything that we write and in everything that we say, and look at the big picture, we say to you, you were source energy before you came into this physical body. Do you know that? And most of you say yes, but you don't really know it. But yes, sort of, kind of, makes sort of sense. But you were source energy before you came into this physical body. And while that consciousness that you know as your personality came into you, that larger part of you still remains non-physically focused. Did you know that? Most people do not really know that. So then we say, which means there are two aspects of you, this physically focused leading edge aspect of you and this non-physical source energy aspect of you, two aspects of you to which law of attraction is responding. So the source energy part of you is focused upon you and what you're doing and having opinions and attitudes about it. And law of attraction is responding to that loving, knowing, good feeling attitude or opinion that your inner being has about you. But then you're here having an attitude about you. And law of attraction is responding to you, to the vibrational attitude that you have about you. So there are these competing attitudes or points of attraction that are going on. And that is what equals your emotions. Every emotion that you feel is about how in alignment you are with what source knows about whatever you're focused upon in the moment, or how out of alignment you are about whatever you're focused upon in the moment. And so once you get that, once you get, oh, I'm an extension of something, and that something is always aware, and that something is always broadcasting, and that something is always receiving on my behalf. That's why when you ask, it is given. It is given to you in that vibrational form. But you have to find a way to bring yourself in this physical form into alignment with that non-physical part of you. And so many people stand out there in the world, disconnected from all of that love, and then they pronounce God as vengeful. Not because God is vengeful, but because they are in no way a vibrational match to what they believe that God is, you see. And there is no greater emptiness in all that is than the emptiness that humans, beasts don't do it, than the emptiness that humans accomplish on their own when they conclude something that just isn't so. That's what loneliness is. That's what depression is. That's what every horrible feeling, emotion is. And then they get all sure of themselves. I feel so terrible, I must be right. I feel so terrible, I must be right about this. Know for sure that when you're feeling terrible, for sure you're not right about whatever it is you're thinking about while you're feeling terrible. You could not be more wrong. You could not be more off base. You could not be more out of kilter. But you get to create your own reality. You get to deprive yourself of as much of that or allow yourself as much of that as you choose, you see, because you have the free will to choose it, to allow it, to be it, to have it, to pinch it off. And that's what we talk about whenever we get together with you, because you all are students every day that Esther is asking many times a day, because she's been hearing this for a long time and she really gets this. In other words, she understands it to some degree. And so when an impulse, a strong impulse comes to her these days, she is saying to herself, What receiving mode am I in? Where did that come from? Is that guidance and impulse that's coming from my source energy? Or am I in some other receptive mode? Am I in some fearful, vulnerable feeling place? So we would not for a moment ever want you to think that we think that anything that you've ever lived is bogus or not real. Of course it's real. And how are you going to know what you know if you haven't had the real life experience? We just want you to know what it feels like to deliberately hook up with this source energy and allow it to flow on a consistent basis, you see. We want you to know that this is a friendly universe, that this is a loving universe, and even more important, that this is a universe interested in you, that you are important in this universe, that what you think matters, and that you contribute to this universe with every thought you think. And when you sift through the contrast and you know what you don't want and you launch rockets of what you do want, even if you never line up with those rockets of improvement, you still have benefited the universe, you see. You've still done part of what you intended to do. You sifted and sorted and you ask. And when you ask, it was given, and it was given to you. It was given to the vibrational version of you, and that vibrational version of you held that knowing and held that asking and held that receiving of source and is sending a signal to you, a constant signal to you to let you know that any time you just relax a little bit and move in the direction of that signal, that you will be the receiver of the information that you have asked for. You see? It's just such a wonderful thing to come to know. And we know for sure that you know it. Now, will you live it all day, every day? Hell no. You won't do that. Esther doesn't do that. She wants to, but she doesn't. She lets life experience get her goat every now and again. She'll have a knee-jerk reaction to something, and when she does, she feels the discord in her being. And she will laugh when that discord is there, and she will say, I know, I'm pinching myself off from all of the well-being of all of the universe, but I can't help it right now because this really made me mad. It's all right, because in that, you're asking for more. Just make more lists of positive aspects and look for more reasons to appreciate. And find a time every day to quiet your mind so that your vibrational beingness will find that equivalency to the source within you. And then benefit from all of the lovely questions that this life experience has caused you to ask. This is the key to creating anything that matters to you. Don't put so much effort in it. So, you've asked, and what you've asked for is in the vortex, but it's a vibrational version. And now you're looking for ways to bring it from vibration into your manifested reality. How can I get the money out of the vortex and into the bank? How can I turn these thoughts to things? How can my life reflect the reality that I've been asking for? How can I stop noticing the things that aren't happening and start feeling the things as they are happening? How can I start enjoying the evolutionary process rather than wanting it to manifest and then find it? How can I have fun in this process? If you get too heady about it, you're in the way of it. If you're trying too hard, you see. So sort of kick back and cool your jets and just relax and listen. And let it be what it is. And don't try to make it be more than what it is. Let it be whatever it is, because whatever it is enough. And you know why? Because it's got to be. It's got to be enough because it's all it is. So just relax. So now we all know how it all works. Yeah, you're doing really well. We enjoyed this a lot.